Hello everyone, this is Chris Sciria,
This is Robert Harding.
and this is week 6 of the Citizens Punt, Pass, and Chat NFL picks.
Nice. 6 for 6. You're like Peyton Manning with this efficiency. Very good.
Better Peyton than Eli.
Oh, that's true. If it was Eli, you'd be on the ground right now.
No, actually I'd be chasing after someone who intercepted my pass going toward the end zone. That's where I would be running right now. But come on, Eli's an easy target. He's got 2 rings. It's 2 more than we have, so I guess we can't really blast him too much.
Yeah, but that's in the past.
Yes.
He has 15 interceptions this year, so that's what counts now. Ouch.
That does hurt. Well, we've got 6 games to pick. Robert picked them this week. And let's get right into it. We have Cincinnati at Buffalo. And as you notice, Robert is wearing his brand spanking new
Kiko Alonso jersey.
Kiko Alonso.
You can kind of see it in the camera. Just trust us if you can't see it.
Yes. I am waiting for my Brian Hartline jersey to come. It's stuck in the FedEx depository building, wherever you call that place in Syracuse. I got to wait till Monday to get it. But next Friday, I will be sporting aqua, and proudly so. Anyways, going back to the game.
You'll see that on next Friday's video, by the way.
Yes, it will be on next. Yes, that's the reason why we're next
Chris
Friday.
will be wearing it to work.
Yes, and you'll be wearing your jersey, so we'll have
Absolutely.
the first of 2 Dolphins-Bills picks.
That's right.
Should be fun.
A Tim Hortons beverage on the line,
Ooh,
folks.
that's right. That is true.
Don't forget.
So Cincy at Buffalo, obviously the Bills are missing their quarterback, and some guy, I can't remember his name, Lewis. Is it Lewis who's starting? Thad Lewis, is that the guy's
Come on,
name?
man. We just talked about this yesterday.
Thad Lewis.
Thad Lewis.
Thad
One
Lewis.
career
In
NFL
the
star.
great history of Buffalo Bills quarterbacks, we have Kemp, right? We've
Ferguson.
got Ferguson. LaMonica played for the Bills.
Kelly.
Remember that? Kelly. Flutie, and well, we can skip Rob Johnson.
Todd
and Todd Collins, and all those other guys. But now we have Thad Lewis. So. And luckily he does get the start in front of the home fans, and the Bills did sell the game out, so thanks to Ruff Wilson buying up the last 5,000 tickets, you Bills fans in the Syracuse and Rochester and Buffalo areas will be able to enjoy this game. But unfortunately, I think you may wish the game had been blacked out, because the Cincinnati Bengals are coming to Orchard Park, and they beat a pretty good New England team last week on their home field. And, I think their defense is much better than Buffalo's. Not by much, but enough. And I just think that the lack of a quality starting quarterback is going to hurt the Bills. And I like Cincinnati in this game.
You know what? I do too. It's tough to say that wearing a Bills jersey for the first time for the Pick 6 video. But, I'm a sensible guy. I think you know that by now.
Yes, I do.
So, I have the Bengals winning 20-17. I think it'll be close. I think, the Bengals offense, we talked about this on the podcast, they're not as good as the defensive unit. The defensive unit's much better. They showed that last week against Tom Brady and the Patriots. That's what's going to win them this game and a lot of other games this year, especially in that AFC North. So as tough as it is to root against
not really
the home
team. You're just picking against them.
Oh, to pick against the team, yeah.
I do it all the time, believe me, it's very easy.
Yeah. So the old Dolphins jinx. You don't want to ruin that.
Nope.
It's tough. Tough to pick against them, but Bengals are a logical choice here, coming off that nice win against the Patriots. I think they really impressed a lot of people with that win. So it's tough to pick against them this week.
Yeah, C.J. Spiller, I think, is the X factor in this game. I think if he comes out and rushes for more than 100 yards, a couple TDs, then I think the Bills might have a chance in this game. I just don't see that happening against a very stout Bengals run defense. So, game number 2 is Detroit at Cleveland. This is I think back to this game and I have visions of the '60s, in my head. I have or the '50s, Otto Graham and Bobby Lane, those guys. But obviously that's ancient history, as Robert would say. Or
I was going to say you were around.
I didn't see those games, no. But now we have Reggie Bush and Calvin Johnson, who may or may not be playing, and Cleveland's got Brandon Weeden back, and that's why I'm picking Detroit in this game. I think Detroit clearly has the better quarterback, more offensive weapons, slightly better defense. Yeah, they're on the road, but I think Detroit can win in Cleveland, and I like the Lions.
I'm going the other way. I'm taking Cleveland. Cleveland at home. Some people might see this as a little bit of an upset. I believe both teams have the same record entering this game. But I think Cleveland with Weeden, they showed something against the Bills. I mean, Whedon played pretty good in that game.
Yeah.
He didn't get off to a hot start. He was being booed and everything. And then he came back and played quite well and, helped them win the game. So I think you can do the same against Detroit. Cleveland has a, decent receiving core there, young receiving core, but they've got some speedsters.
Gordon is good, I give you that.
And the defense is underrated, and Matt Stafford has to put up with them. So, we'll see what happens, but I'm going to take Cleveland 24-20. Close game, but kind of a defensive. It'll come down to who's playing better on defense in this one, I think.
Okay. Our next game, I think, is the second best game of the week, and that's Green Bay and Baltimore. Baltimore got their offense going a little bit towards the end of that game against Miami. Their defense played very well, sacking Tannehill 5 or 6 times. The Packers, they're tough start because they had a tough schedule at the beginning, but I think they're starting to play better now. And but I do like Baltimore in this game. All that being said, I like Baltimore.
Blah blah blah. But Baltimore.
Yes, I know. It's going to be a purple rain in Baltimore on Sunday. Like I said, I think Flacco looked better. It just seemed like he overcame that 5 interception game against the Bills. I think he got his confidence back. Not that he ever really lost all of his confidence, but I just think you have a good game behind you after a bad game. I think it just gets you going. So, Green Bay, it's another tough game on the road, and I like the Ravens here.
I'm going with the Packers.
Wow.
Taking the road team in this one. I think the Packers, impressive win against Detroit. I think they needed that game. They've kind of had an up and down season to this point. Starting with the loss to San Francisco, that rough loss to Cincinnati, a team that we've been praising a lot lately. I think this is one that they go into Baltimore and I think they pull it out. Baltimore, the Miami game to me was more about the Dolphins losing that than the Ravens winning it.
I'll give you that.
I thought the Dolphins played well enough to win that game. When you compare it to Baltimore anyway. It all depends on how much Ray Rice gets involved in the offense.
Yeah, I think he'll be healthier this week.
Yeah.
I think he showed signs last week that he was healthier.
Right, because that was his first game back.
Right,
so.
and I think that helps out too. But we differ on that one. Our next game, and this is, I guess you could say, is the biggest mismatch in the NFL in literally 37 years since 1976. This is the Jaguars at the Broncos. This is the game that, this is like you're rubbernecking at an accident when you're watching this game because it's going to be gruesome. You shouldn't look, but yet somehow you just have to. And really the question isn't whether the Broncos are going to win, it's by how much they're going to win. And the point spread opened up at 28. I think it's at 27 now. It's fluctuated between 27 and 28 points. There's a lot of talk that maybe the Broncos rest their starters in the second half, and that will let Jacksonville kind of creep in it and cover the spread. But we're not picking against the spread. We're picking overall. And
where's the disclaimer?
This one. Come on. This one, go ahead and bet the house. Bet the house on this one. If you want to bet your kid's college education fund, the mortgage payment, the grocery money, and you want to pick
we went there.
Denver in this game, straight up, not talking about covering, I'm talking straight up. If there's a bookie willing to give you, bet on this one. But against the spread, I'd still take Denver to cover the spread too. But I don't know if I'd bet everything on that one. But I like Denver this game. I mean, I don't think we even have to explain why.
Denver 48, Jacksonville 10. Next.
Okay. This is the game of the week. Now we go from the biggest mismatch to I think one of the most competitive. Could be fun, as much fun as last week's Denver-Dallas game. This is New Orleans at New England. Okay, and I think this is going to be a real fun game. You've got two of the best coaches in the last 20 years, Belichick and Sean Payton. And this is going to be an entertaining football game. I mean, you got Breeze and Brady. I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun. And who knows if the weather might have a little impact. It could be raining or something. New Orleans is a dome team, and they are playing an outdoor game, so you never know how they're going to be affected by that. That being said, Drew Brees, I think the Saints make it 6-0, and I think I don't think they're going to put a shellacking on the Patriots, but I see them winning maybe like a 30-27 game. I think there'll be a little bit of a shootout here, and I like the Saints in this game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Saints too. After last week, the Patriots struggles against Cincinnati, I was looking at this game for the AuburnPub.com pick'em, and I said, well, I'm going with the Saints. I think it'll be close. I don't think the Patriots are going to have a repeat of last week's game. Under Belichick, they've been good at having bad games and then bouncing back. And I think they will. I think they'll compete. I think this will be a very good game, a close game. But when it comes down to it, the Saints' defense has improved. It's not as good as Cincinnati's, but it's better than it was last year.
Yes.
And you have Drew Brees, and the Saints have a lot of weapons. Jimmy Graham, they have a whole core of running backs. I mean, take your pick. So this is going to be a tough game for New England. As decent as that defense has played,
And Woolfolk still, I mean, he's out for the year.
Right.
I really think that is I think that loss is underrated. No one's really talking about that, but I think that may be the loss that really dooms the Patriots to, even if they win the division and make the playoffs, they're not going to go very far. I really think that is losing him on defense is huge.
yeah.
And still no Gronk for the Patriots.
And I think it'll hurt against their division rivals.
Well, I've thought about that. Believe me.
As long as not just the Dolphins,
Yes, but the Bills and the Jets are in
And the
this
Jets,
thing. It's
yeah.
wide open. I'll give you that. Absolutely.
You look back at that Week 2 game, and if the Jets continue having this, I mean, they beat the Falcons Monday night. If they continue playing, well, if Geno Smith has, many more games like he did Monday night, they can compete too.
Yeah.
This is a wide open race. So, and I think that the Jets, at the end of the season, depending on how this plays out, they might regret that Week 2 game a little bit against New England. They had opportunities there. The Patriots did not play well in that game. Jets should have won that game, and but Geno Smith made a couple of mistakes, and it is what it is. So, but still, that Wilfork loss is big for them.
Our last game is a Sunday nighter, and that's the classic rivalry of Washington at Dallas. Always fun when these two teams hook up. You never know what's going to happen, and I'll tell you, Tony Romo, I mean, he's coming off arguably one of the greatest performances ever by an NFL quarterback.
Single game.
But, and there's the key thing, that interception late, which I said on the podcast, I didn't think was his fault. I just think the defender made an amazing play to pick that ball off. The Redskins are still coming along with RG3. I think they're the second best team in that division, but Dallas is the best team in that division, and they will win this game. And I think it'll be close. I think Redskins will play tough, but I like Dallas in this game.
It's always a crapshoot with the NFC East because you never know, who's going to show up what week, especially when they play each other.
Yes.
And we've seen a lot of that this year. The Giants are a great example, but you look at these teams, and the leaders of the division right now are Philadelphia and Dallas. Their records 2-3. So we don't really know how this is going to play out. It could end up like a situation a few years ago with Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, you could have literally, you could see the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Redskins each going 7-9 in this division.
Oh yeah.
Easily going 7-9.
Because you have to factor in, their non-conference schedule,
Right.
their non-divisional schedule.
I mean, before the NFL did their realignment with 8 divisions, you played half your schedule was division games. Eight of your games were division games. Now it's only 6. So, I mean, the division games, yes, they're important still, but there's 2 less of them, and when it's really your conference record now. You really need to dominate in your conference because, if you're going to get a wild card, you got to have a great AFC record for that tiebreaker. So, or NFC, obviously for the Cowboys and the Redskins. So, yeah, I like the Cowboys in this game, and I think it'll be a fun one.
I'm taking Washington. I think you put 2 things together for them. They had of course, coming off the bye, and then they had a victory before then. So those 2 things together, I think they started finding their legs a little bit. They got off to a slow start. That defense, that's one of the things with the Washington Redskins right now that could be trouble is Tony Romo coming off that game against Denver. Denver, in my opinion, has a better defense than Washington. So if the Redskins don't be careful, Romo could have another big game. But I'll take Washington. Close game, 27-24. But again, anything could happen in this game. NFC East games are like that. Divisional games are like that. Anything can happen. Dallas very well could win. That would be a big bounce back for them after last week's loss. But, you know, I think Washington can find some momentum here and pick up this victory.
I think we differ on 3 or 4 games this week, so this is
Yeah.
interesting. And our records, if you're curious, Robert is 16-14. I'm 19-11. So this may be the week where Robert catches me. We'll see what happens.
3-game lead. If not, I'm way behind you, needing a miracle to catch up.
No, a lot of football left to be played. So
So
thank you everyone for watching.
yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll go through the old promos like we usually do. How we end this. So listen to our podcast. We recorded it yesterday. Talked a lot of football.
40
yesterday.
minutes. I was on.
40
Wow.
minutes. Yeah.
Boy, I gabbed.
Chris almost fell asleep.
And
after
I mean, I was just rambling on. It was a lot of fun though.
So, you know, we covered, I think, League of Denial. We covered last week's games. We previewed this week a little bit.
Jolly old London.
Talked about London, of course. There's the British accent again. Never disappoints.
Drop it.
So, you know, check that out on auburnpub.com. And, you know, of course, this video, we'll be back next week to record the Pick 6 and, of course, another podcast. So until then, we'll see you later.
Take care, everyone.